Well, it's been a legal roller coaster with the banning and reinstating of TikTok.
In our legal lens, Fox 2's Jeff Bernthal asked Brown and Crouppen attorney Andrea McNary about where the case is headed and whether a presidential order can be overturned.
I guess let's start with where things stand in this case, Andrea.
So, as we've heard, the federal law banning TikTok required the app to be sold to a non-Chinese company. There was an exception if a potential buyer was viable, that they could extend that to 90 days. TikTok challenged the law in federal court, arguing it violated its First Amendment rights and the First Amendment rights of its users. However, the U.S. Court of Appeals, the D.C. Circuit, and the U.S. Supreme Court all upheld the law. So on January 20th, President Trump signed an executive order delaying enforcement of the ban by 75 days, which will allow the next administration to examine what other steps may be necessary or what other actions may follow.
And that executive order just sort of leads to another, legal question here, and that is, what exactly are these executive orders, and, are there any limits to them?
So an executive order is an official directive from president to federal agencies instructing on how the government should operate. They aren't explicitly mentioned in the Constitution, but they are rooted in Article 2 and in the powers given to the president. These orders carry the force of law if they fall within the president's authority. So the question will be is, can executive orders do they fall within the scope of the president's scope of power? And then secondarily, they cannot be used to override laws by Congress, and their scope is limited to the authority granted to the president.
And is there a legal path to overturn an executive order from a president?
They are not set in stone, and they can be overturned through several avenues. So the president can repeal, a sitting president can revoke or modify their own orders or issues that were done by their predecessors. Congress can take action, and they can pass legislation to nullify an executive order. However, it can be vetoed by the president, and that would require Congress to block implementation by requiring a 2/3 majority vote in both chambers of the House to override that veto. And then finally, they are scrutinized by judicial review. So federal courts, including the Supreme Court, can rule that an executive order exceeds presidential authority and block its implementation.
A topic that's getting a lot of attention right now for sure. Andrea McNary from Brown and Crouppen. As always, appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jeff Bernthal, Fox 2 News.
And you can catch the Legal Lens on Fox 2 every Wednesday at 6 p.m.